I'll be in this extraordinary machine for a test drive. It belongs to Stu Smith, British champion stock car driver. And I can tell you it's one of the most amazing things I've ever driven. Come stock car racing at about 10:30. Well, that's Stu Smith taking part in the rough and tumble of Formula One stock car racing. And I've always wondered what makes people want to go stock car racing, what makes thousands of people go every week to watch the sport. I've come along on a rather nice day to Odsal Stadium near Bradford to meet Stu Smith and find out all about the sport and about his very noisy motor car. Stuart, take your bone dome off and then you can actually hear what's going on. This is a most amazing machine. I want to ask you about the car in a moment. But for the benefit of people who don't go to stock car racing, when did the sport start?
Started in 1954 at New Cross in London. And it's quite a long time ago. It's been going for 25 years.
And at which point did you decide that you wanted to get involved?
When I was 18-year-old, going back about 14 years now, I used to go watching, and my first stock car cost 65 quid, whereas now this thing, it can cost up to 4,000 quid to put on the track. It's very sophisticated now. The Bangor image is gone completely.
Well, it's a sophistication which is supported and certainly followed very closely by thousands of people.
Yeah, there's a very big following, a lot bigger than people realise.
Well, you have your own fan club, don't you?
Yeah, yeah. You know, there's quite a lot of drivers do as well.
And, of course, there are different stages, aren't there? The cars are painted different colours, is that right?
That's right, yeah. The beginners have a white roof, all the roofs painted white. And then you've got your yellow tops, which are improvers. And the blue roof cars are the A-grade drivers. Then you have your red tops, which are there's 20 in the country. They're the top drivers. And then, of course, you have your 6 superstars, which always start at the back of the field in every race, and they're the country's top 6.
Well, the car is the star in the sense of the amount of noise that it makes. Could you take us for a guided tour, starting with the engine? If we have a look under here, just pull that off to me.
The engine is sort of as protected as is possible. This steel hoop here protects the radiator for when we do rollovers and turnovers and what have you. The steering box is as far out of the way as possible, so as not to get damaged by other cars and fence posts and such. The other safety aspects, we've got several on fuel lines, you know. They've got to be running in copper, and we've got to have a fuel tap, a safety ignition switch. The fuel tank has got to be a certain gauge, and it's got to be in its own compartment. The car itself is actually jacked in a way that it will go around left-hand corners better than it will go in a straight line, because half of the race we're drifting and you know, going around in anti-clockwise. We jack the frame by altering the height of the springs on this side. We vary it from front to back as well, depending on which stadium you race on. You wouldn't think it to look at the car because it's got just conventional springs, but we actually put wedges under and we measure the height and everything, and we can tell by the way it handles. Usually we build a new car every season. This one was brand new beginning of this season. It looks a bit battered now, but it's done 40 meetings. It's quite easy to drive compared to the old one. Would you like to have a go?
Yes, I would, very much.
OK, then.
I'll try not to bend it. I'll go and put something more sensible on as well. While I'm putting my overalls on, just have a look at these cups and trophies that Stuart has won over the years. These are just some of the 3,784 awards he's won. An incredible achievement, even for a top driver. But it does mean an awful lot of polishing and cleaning. And talking of polishing and cleaning, I found myself automatically giving the windscreen a wipe. Silly thing to do, really. There's no glass in a stock car. I've done quite a few road tests in my time, so let's see what the acceleration is like on this model. Well, this is the first opportunity that I've had to actually sit inside one of these cars, and I must say it's unlike any other motor car that I've ever been in. There's a certain amount of dust flying up from the vehicle in front, and in fact I'll put my visor down because it really is bad. There's no windscreen to stop the dust coming in. The car being set up so that it always goes around left-hand corners, it really feels very odd, and it feels as if the whole time it could actually spin right the way round, when in fact I'm not going at all fast. I'm going nowhere near the racing speeds that they do. As you can probably tell, the thing you notice most is the amount of noise that it makes. Phenomenal amount of noise. It also feels rather strange because the steering wheel is nearer to me on the left-hand portion of it than it is on the right. So I'm at a bit of an angle, but this is all to help it go around the corners very quickly. And what I'm reminding myself at this moment is that I am just literally cruising around here. And when these guys do it for real in front of 25,000 people, there's probably 30 of them out here, and they're going to do it for anywhere between 20 and 40 laps. They have my admiration, I can tell you, because this is a very, very strange effect indeed. It's reassuring in the sense that this roll bar all around here, it really does give you the impression that the car is designed to withstand any impacts that it might suffer. I'm only in third gear at the moment. Stuart would probably normally be in fourth, and he'll be slamming up these straights and getting on the brakes for each corner, powering his way around the corner as near to the wall as he can, looking for a hole between the opposing cars, and then he'll be braking hard for the next corner. Just as I was getting used to the unusual handling of the car, I had to give it back. Stuart was waiting to start his pre-race checks, and the crowds were starting to arrive for the evening's meeting.